Welcome back to Legalese 123, where we are covering cases across America.
Hello and welcome back to Legalese 123. I'm your host, Missy K. I hope you're all doing well today. Today is November the 11th. It's Veterans Day. Do you have someone in your life that has served in the military or is currently in the military? I have a long line of family members from my father-in-law, my stepfather, their parents, etc. So I want, from the bottom of my heart, I want to thank you all for your service. I even have a current nephew of mine, a great nephew of mine, who is in the service right now going through basic training. So thank you all for who have served and to help protect our country. From the bottom of my heart, thank you so, so much. So as you see today, I've got my handy dandy glasses on. I've got my red shirt on. My eyeliner is a little bit uh, green. My bow is white. And remember, I got these new pair of eyewear. So today we're going to be in plaid. So I guess maybe I'm in the Christmas spirit or Christmas mood, even though I haven't put up my decorations yet. Have you put your decorations up yet? Do you just like skip Thanksgiving and put your decorations up and just say, forget it? We usually put ours up at Christmas time, so that's probably what we're going to do. We might do a couple of little small things here and there, but not too much. Well, I'm very sorry to say, boo hoo, we're going to hop right into it. What are we going to talk about today? I had said that we were going to do the Brian Walsh case, and that was today was supposed to be his competency hearing. Well, I was mistaken. It was set for the 10th, and then they changed it to the 14th, and then they canceled it altogether. So we don't know exactly what's happening, but I thought we would kind of go back into a road so far in the Walsh case. And I thought today we would look at what's called an evidentiary hearing. And this is where they have some law enforcement officers come, take the stand, talk about what they have discovered, and then the judge makes a decision as to whether or not they obtain this evidence and whether or not it can be used at trial. So I don't think that a lot has been gone through with this, so that we're going to go ahead and we're going to take a look at that today, so you can see who some of the players are in this case compared to the Karen Reed case. So first, let's go ahead and start with the road so far as to what I've done. So here we are. This is Brian Walsh. So Brian Walsh versus the state of Massachusetts. What's going on with Brian Walsh? Well, he was married to Anna Walsh. They were married in December 21st, 2015. And they have three kids. In 2016, they were 6, 4, and 2. They said it was love at first sight. She was working her way up through hotel management, you could say. So she started off as a maid, and then she got more and more involved in the hotel management, and she ended up being a property manager. They stated that it was like destiny, and their lives were just intertwined together. She was 39 years old. She was a Serbian American, and she ended up being in real estate. Like I said, she worked her way up. So she began her hospitality career. She was an entry-level person. She was doing housekeeping. Then she was a reservations manager. And she was the front desk person. Then she became the director. She was the rooms manager. And then it just exploded from there. And then she ended up being the director of operations at a high-end real estate properties group in Boston, and then also ended up doing some stuff in Washington, D.C. So then, as I said, she then transitioned to Tishman Speyer in Washington, D.C., taking the role as a regional general manager, overseeing many, many operations in D.C., and they lived in Cohasset, Massachusetts. So she was, working up her career, managing lots of things, and, gaining lots of notoriety. So, who was Brian Walsh? Well, he was the son of a renowned neurologist. And he, according to documents, was excluded from his father's will. He nearly swindled $1 million in assets, including art piece and property. Um, and this just kind of just tells you a little bit about who he was and what his demeanor was. So he was indicted for selling counterfeit Andy Warhol paintings on eBay. And he later was sentenced to jail in 2024 to 37 months in federal prison plus restitution. Now, this is very important because Brian Walsh is being accused of unaliving his wife, taking various of her parts of her body separate. YouTube doesn't like those exact words, so we have to parse it out. Taking her body parts separately and disposing them in trash cans around Massachusetts or in the Cohasset area. Her body was never found. Um, so there is a theory that Anna was going to leave him. Anna was preparing to go and move to DC. She already had another paramour, another boyfriend, and that she was planning on taking the kids and moving to DC. Unbeknownst to Brian, or maybe he did know, that's sort of like the key that we don't know for sure whether he did or he didn't know that this is what she was going to do. Now, he had this pending case of this fraud that he had, and so he eventually was going to go to jail. So maybe she was preparing for that, but they didn't know at the time when she was uh, unalived what his sentence was going to be. So in 2024, he received 37 months. Anna was last seen on January 1st, 2023. So this happened a whole year prior to his sentencing in 2024. Her husband initially told the police that she had traveled to DC for work and she was quote unquote missing. So we start on the premise of a 911 call is made, she's missing, they need to find her. So it's a missing persons case that eventually turns into where is she, what happened to her, etc. And so this is where we are going to delve into the investigators into this case, and they happen to be the same people that are involved in the Karen Reed case. You've got Michael Proctor, you've got Brian Tully, you've got Yuri Buchanan, Connor Keefe, and Nicholas Garino. And why is this important? Because you have to remember that the Massachusetts State Police, at some point in time, the FBI is involved in investigating something. We don't know exactly what they're investigating. We do know about the CDL scandal. We do know that they had their hands in the Karen Reed case. They had their hands in the Sandra Birchmore case, which we will get to eventually. Right now, that case is pending because we don't have a lot of information because it's a federal case. And so you have the same players in this case as in other cases. But why is that important? Well, as we know, Michael Proctor has been fired. A couple of other these people have been reassigned. We're going to go over that and do a deep dive into Karen Reed's Massachusetts State Police officers and where are they now after the fallout of Karen Reed. But it's really important that we go through this case and we look at the evidentiary hearing because one of the key factors is Brian Walsh's lawyer, Tracy Miner, who was his lawyer on the fraud case, said that investigators could look at his phone and look at his tablet only to go over the communications that he had with Anna Walsh, right? Because when they're investigating a crime or they're investigating who possibly could have done something to Anna Walsh, where is she? They always look at the husband first, right? That's crime 101. So Tracy Miner gave permission, and Brian Walsh voluntarily gave over his devices to them for them to search for communications. Did they do that? The answer is no. They took it a step further, and you're going to see in the testimony exactly how that transpired. And then in the end, we'll ask you whether or not you think that that was right. Because remember, every defendant in a case has a right to a fair trial, right? If evidence was obtained against them illegally or used in a manner with which they are conspiring or kind of cheating the system, that's not fair, is it? Your rights as a criminal are not valid. So, what could the motive be as to why Brian Walsh possibly unalived her? Remember, he is innocent until proven guilty in a court of law. So they allege that he suspected that she was having an affair, that she was going to take the kids and move to DC. Possibly there's life insurance that was involved. Remember, he had to pay off debt for the fraud investigation with the Andy Warhols. So there's many, many different things. So we're going to go ahead and we're going to take a look at the YouTube of the events that happened in the evidentiary hearing. So here we go.
And what's your current rank there?
I am a police officer.
Let's
Called Greg Lawrence. Morning. Right this way. Let me start right here. Please, the clerk. I solemnly swear or affirm the testimony you shall provide in the matter now and hearing shall be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth. So help you God under the pains and penalties of perjury. Please have a seat in that witness stand. Just keep your voice up nice and loud. Morning, sir.
Morning, sir.
Could you please state your name and could you please spell your last name for the record?
Gregory Lawrence, spelled Lowrance.
And, sir, where do you work?
Cohasset Police Department. About 6 years.
And what's your current rank there?
I am a police officer, currently assigned as a school resource officer to the elementary schools there in town.
Okay. Were you working on January 4th of 2023?
Yes, I was.
And for the record, that was a Wednesday that day?
Yes.
So on January 24th on 2023, what was your shift that day?
It was
Sorry, I guess I said the wrong day. January 4th, 2023?
January
Yes.
4th, 2023, yes.
What was the hours of your shift that day?
8 a.m. to 4 p.m.
Okay. Now, sir, as a result of being an officer, were you in uniform that day?
Yes, I was.
Okay. At 11:44 a.m., where were you dispatched?
I was dispatched to 516 Chief Justice Cushing Highway in the town of Cohasset.
Now, Chief Justice Cushing Highway, does that have another designation as far as a roadway?
In town.
Okay, I'm going to pause it right there just for a quick second. I failed to tell you that the person who is asking the questions is the prosecutor in the case. And the person who objected just a second ago was Larry Tipton, who is Brian Walsh's attorney. So we'll continue on.
And is also known as Route 3A.
And Route 3A, is it busy road, back road? Can you tell me a little bit about it?
It's a state highway, very busy road.
And why were you dispatched to 516 Chief Justice Cushing Highway?
Cohasset Police Dispatch got a call from a male party by the name of Hugh Dunleavy in Washington, D.C., stating that one of his employees has not been seen since the previous Friday.
Okay. Now, do you remember the name of the company he worked for?
It was Tishman Spire.
And do you remember the name of the employee that he was calling about?
Anna Walsh.
And did he say where she resided?
She resided in Cohasset.
And what did he say about where her vehicle was located?
Her vehicle was located on the property. It was last seen on the parking lot logging system on the 29th of December, 2022.
Down in D.C.?
Yes, sir.
And was it explained as far as her relationship to Washington, D.C. and why she had a residence in Cohasset?
She works down in Washington, D.C. and commutes back and forth.
And now, sir, when you got to 516 Chief Justice Cushing Highway, who did you meet there at that residence?
Brian Walsh.
Can you explain to me what happened when you got to the house that day?
I exited my cruiser and he met me at the doorway and said that he wanted to report his wife missing and file a police report with the Cohasset Police.
And what was his demeanor like when you saw him at the doorway?
Very calm.
Now, this initial interaction with Mr. Walsh, was it recorded?
No, it was not.
Why wasn't it recorded?
Cohasset Police did not have body-worn cameras at that time.
And so what had he told you he had done to try and locate his wife at this point in time?
He told me that he had tried texting her and he did contact his employer, her employer.
And what did he tell you as far as the last time he had seen his wife?
It would be Sunday morning, January 1st, 2023, between the hours of 6 a.m. and 7 a.m.
Did he say where she was going after that point?
She had a work emergency and had to go back to Washington, D.C.
Did he say how she was going to leave the home that day?
She was going to take either an Uber or a Lyft.
And head to where, sir?
Logan Airport.
Now, what did he say about his attempts to contact her?
He has attempted to contact her via text, and also he had reached out to coworkers and acquaintances in the D.C. area.
And when she was working in D.C., did he tell you how often he would have contact with her?
He said that usually they would speak frequently, and she would FaceTime with their children.
And did he have any information about where she resided in DC, in Washington, D.C. during the week?
They own a townhouse down there.
Did he give you the address?
He did give me the address. I do not know it off the top of my head.
That's okay. And did he give you any information concerning her vehicle in Washington, D.C.?
Yes, she had a vehicle that she kept down there. It was a 2022 gray Volkswagen Taos.
What did he provide you?
Sorry, I missed the end of that. It was a 2022 what?
Volkswagen Taos.
Thank you.
Okay, I'm going to pause it there. The person that just spoke was the judge, that is Judge Frenier, and her demeanor is superior so far. If you ever watch the Karen Reed trial and you see Judge Frenier, you compare the two of them, you're going to see there's completely different styles. Judge Frenier definitely commands respect in her courtroom. So let's continue on.
And, sir, did he provide you a physical description of her?
Yes, give me the description. Standing 5'2" in height, about 115 pounds, brown hair, brown eyes.
Now, how long was this interaction with Mr. Walsh at the Walsh home that morning when you went to go see him?
Probably about 20, 30 minutes maybe.
And after that, where'd you go?
I left the residence and then I did return to the same house later that evening.
Did you have to fill out any documentation after you left the residence?
Yes, I went back to the Cohasset Police Station and filled out an NCIC missing persons report.
Your Honor, at this point in time, we've already talked about the first 20 exhibits in this book. I'm going to give this to the court and we can remark these 20 exhibits.
All right, and you can, as they come in, if defense counsel wishes to object to any of them, you let me know, and we'll deal with them real time.
And Your Honor, may I approach the witness?
You may.
Thank you. Officer, do you recognize the document I just handed to you?
Yes, you did.
What is the document I just handed to you?
There's a missing person report for an NCIC record entry.
And what is an NCIC entry?
It is a database where we can enter information on a missing person that goes out to surrounding police and other law enforcement agencies.
And where did you get the information to fill out that report?
Mr. Walsh.
And that's the report you filled out after meeting with Mr. Walsh that day on the 4th?
Correct.
The Commonwealth would seek to have this marked as the next exhibit, which would be 21.
Any objection to that?
No, Your Honor.
The NCIC report of missing persons is now Exhibit 21 in evidence.
Thank you, Madam Clerk. Now,
Can I just, sorry to interrupt. Is that the same one as Exhibit 4 that's on the list?
I apologize. I didn't. It is the same one as Exhibit 4. My bad. We put that in last night. My apologies, Your Honor. It's already been marked as Exhibit 4.
It's fine. I take judicial notice that 4 and 21 are the same. Thanks for pointing that out, so I don't look for a difference.
And I don't need to give it any more weight than it deserves, putting it in twice.
All right, that's fine. It won't get any more weight. Can I have the binder?
Thank you, Your Honor.
Sure.
Officer, what information did Cohasset PD have at this point in time from Mr. Dunleavy as far as the last time Ms. Walsh had been seen at her workplace?
They had a record of her on their security system on the 29th of December.
And what was the information that Cohasset PD had at this time as far as the last time Ms. Walsh's car was recorded entering or exiting a Tishman Speyer facility in Washington, D.C.?
Is recorded on the parking lot logging system at right around 5 a.m. on the 30th of December.
And what information did Mr. Dunleavy provide Cohasset PD as far as the accessibility from that location to getting to Reagan International Airport?
She can usually easily access the airport via train from that location.
What did Cohasset PD do that afternoon as far as attempting to locate Ms. Walsh's cell phone?
A ping was ordered by Cohasset Police from her cell phone provider.
And, sir, are you aware of the last time, according to that? Well, first, what is a ping?
A ping is the process of determining the last activity of a cell phone by having it send a signal to a nearby cell phone tower.
Okay. Now, sir, when was the last time, according to the information that was received for the request for the ping, that Ms. Walsh's phone interacted with a tower?
It was 3:14 a.m. on January 2nd, 2023.
And do you know the location of the tower it had contact with?
Yes, it was on Reservoir Road in Cohasset.
Now, that tower, how close is that to the family home for the Walsh?
About a quarter of a mile.
And how were you able to identify the provider for Ms. Walsh's cell phone?
Mr. Walsh advised me of the provider of the cell phone.
And is that also how you got the phone number?
Yes, sir.
Now, did Mr. Walsh provide you any information concerning what airline Anna Walsh was going to fly that morning on January 1st?
Yes, sir.
What did he say?
She was flying with JetBlue airline.
And what did Cohasset PD do that afternoon to find out if Ms. Anna Walsh had flown on JetBlue?
We contacted Massachusetts State Troopers assigned to the Logan Airport barracks to inquire with JetBlue, and they advised them that they had no record of ever flying with JetBlue that morning.
And what is it that Cohasset PD did that afternoon to contact the carrier Uber to see if it had had any contact with Anna Walsh on January 1st?
We did a records request with Uber, and they had no records of any pickups or drop-offs from 516 Chief Justice Cushing Highway in Cohasset.
And, sir, also, what was done as far as Cohasset PD attempting to contact law enforcement in Washington, D.C. to locate Anna Walsh?
Washington, D.C. Metropolitan Police Department was contacted to check the townhouse where Anna stays when she's working down there, and they entered it with Mr. Walsh's permission and did not find any signs of forced entry, and Anna was not there.
Did you ever have the opportunity on January 4th, that Wednesday, to return back to 516 Chief Justice Cushing Highway?
Yes, I did.
About what time did you return?
I think it was shortly after 6:30 p.m.
And who returned with you to the residence?
Then Detective Harrison Schmidt.
And who was at the house when you arrived at the residence?
Mr. Walsh and his 3 children.
And do you now know the ages of those 3 children on January 4th?
At that point, they were ages 2, 4, and 6, respectively.
And besides the children and Mr. Walsh, was anyone else home at that point in time at the family residence?
No, there was not.
Were there any pets at the residence at this point in time?
There was a large German Shepherd locked in a cage.
And when you got to the residence, what is it that you and then Detective Schmidt did with Mr. Walsh?
We sat down and did a recorded interview.
So where did this interview occur in the Walsh home?
It was at a dining room table downstairs.
Were you still in uniform at this point in time?
Yes, sir, I was.
And when you were recording the interview, what access did Mr. Walsh have to his children during this point in time?
They were running around the floor freely.
And sir, have you had the opportunity to review the audio of that interview?
Yes, sir, I have.
And it fairly and accurately recorded the interview that you had that night?
Yes, sir, it does.
In addition, you also had the opportunity to review the transcript of that interview, didn't you?
Yes, sir.
Is it an accurate transcript of that interview?
Yes, sir.
Your Honor, those are exhibits 2 and 3 in the binder.
Any objection to those?
How long did the interview last?
I think it was a little under 1 hour.
During that interview, did Mr. Walsh say when his wife Anna had flown home to Cohasset? I'll end it there.
Yes. Friday morning, December 30th.
And what did he do as far as showing you her travel arrangements?
He opened up the JetBlue app and showed us her flight information.
And when you say he opened up the JetBlue app, what device was he showing you this from?
An iPhone.
And in his hands, correct?
Yes.
All right. And when he showed you the iPhone, did he say anything else as far as your access to the iPhone?
He turned to Detective Schmidt and said something along the lines of, "It's all there, you can look."
And when was it that she was initially she being Anna Walsh, initially supposed to fly back to Washington, D.C.?
Tuesday.
What did he provide you as far as information as what Anna Walsh did on December 31st, 2022?
He said that Anna ran some errands and took the children to a play area in Canton.
And what did he say was what he and Anna Walsh did that evening, New Year's Eve, on December 22nd and December 31st, 2022?
They had one of their friends over for dinner.
What was the friend's name?
First name was Jem.
Okay. What time did they say that this person came over to their house?
Approximately 8:30 p.m.
Did anyone else come over for dinner that night?
No.
And where were the children that night?
They were in bed when Jem arrived.
What time did he say that the family friend left?
Right around 1 a.m.
And what time did he say that he and his wife went to bed that evening?
1:30 a.m.
What did Mr. Walsh tell you that Anna had informed him about her having to leave the next day?
A work emergency came up and she had to leave first thing in the morning.
And what did he say to you as far as how she would get to the airport that morning?
Be an Uber or a Lyft.
And what time did he say that she left?
Between the hours of 6 a.m. and 7 a.m.
Did he provide any information as far as the clothing she was wearing?
She was wearing a black coat, gray and blue hunter boots, and a black Prada purse.
During this interview, did Mr. Walsh provide you any information about Anna Walsh's stress level at this point in time in their lives?
Yes, there was a lot of stress in their lives from her commuting back and forth to work.
Was there anything else that she was stressed about, according to Mr. Walsh?
No.
During the interview, did any of the children produce anything?
One of the children, I do not recall which one, asked Mr. Walsh to unlock an iPad for him.
Was he able to do it?
Yes, he was.
And what happened when he unlocked? Did he say anything when he unlocked the iPad?
He typed in a code and said the code out loud.
Do you remember the code?
121212.
And did the children provide any belongings of Anna Walsh during the interview?
They found a sunglass case with sunglasses inside it that Brian said belonged to her.
Now, after this interview, what did you do as far as looking around the house?
With Mr. Walsh's permission, myself, Mr. Walsh, and Detective Schmidt looked around the house just for any potential clues that could help us find Donna.
And when you were inside the house, did you see anything unordinary that was a potential clue for you?
I did not.
What access did you have to the attic?
We did not check the attic.
And that night, did you search the outside of the house?
Yes, sir.
And what did you notice as far as the pool?
It was uncovered, which was strange for this time of year.
And what about the water level?
The water level was high. It was filled.
And did you do anything to look into the water of the pool?
At that time, we shined our flashlights in, but we could not see much. So later on that night, we did request the fire department to respond.
What did you see the fire department do?
They had high-powered spotlights that they shined in, and also they used a large pole to scrape the bottom of the pool.
And was anything recovered when that was done?
No, sir.
Now, that night, did you have the opportunity to see any vehicles that belonged to the Walsh family at the residence?
Yes, sir. There was a Volvo SUV in the driveway.
And did you have the opportunity to look inside the Volvo SUV?
I did look from the outside, yes.
And what, if anything, did you notice about the Volvo SUV?
I only saw one thing. It was in the trunk. It was a folded up plastic sheet.
That night, did you go into the basement at all?
Yes, I did.
And what did you notice about the basement?
It was fairly clean. Just a refrigerator, a couple boxes of miscellaneous items, and a few full trash bags.
And Your Honor, may I have a moment?
Yes.
Thank you very much. Nothing further.
Cross exam.
Morning.
Morning.
Okay, so now as you see, they're just doing can't speak the word, preliminary discussions about what they found evidentiary wise and how things, progression of the case. As he stated, Anna was missing as of July 1st. It's now July 4th. He called the police. Why he waited these 3 days, we don't know. But here we are. So we're just into where the progression of the case is. So this is sort of a preview of what his trial is going to look like. We are going to continue. Larry Tipton is going to get up and go and do cross-examination. So here we go.
You have any conversations with a district attorney named Len Beelan regarding this case?
I did not.
You have any conversations with a trooper named Buchanan regarding this case?
I did not.
Did you have any conversations with anyone regarding this case and any agreement purportedly made by Mr. Walsh to turn over his cell phone?
I did not.
When you talked on direct examination about Mr. Walsh showing you his phone, he was showing you what? Text messages?
He was showing us text messages and also pictures and flight information.
So the pictures were of what? Anna Walsh and Jim, the friend?
I did not look at him. Detective Schmidt looked at him at that time.
Okay. And he did not show you anything other than those three items?
Not me personally.
And he didn't invite you to look at his phone for anything like location data or anything of the sort?
Not me personally.
And when you say you personally, what do you mean by that? Not me personally.
He did not have me look at anything. I do not know if he gave Detective Schmidt any.
You don't. You were present, though, later on in the evening with Detective Schmidt, correct?
Yes, sir.
And you've reviewed that transcript, correct?
Yes, sir.
It's fair to say that nowhere in that transcript that was conducted of the interview on January 4th in the evening hours, is there any reference to Mr. Walsh saying, you can look at my phone to look at search data, location data, anything of the sort, is there?
Not that I recall.
Okay. That's all I have. Thank you.
Any redirect?
No, Your Honor.
The witness may step down. Thank you.
Okay, so there is a slight variation here. As you heard, um, Larry Tipton mentioned a person named Lynn Beeland. Lynn Beeland is a Norfolk County District Attorney. She had an agreement with Tracy Minor. Again, Tracy Minor was Brian Walsh's attorney on his federal charges for the art deception. Again, there's an agreement between Tracy Minor and Lynn Beeland as to which devices Brian would turn over and what specifically they were to search for. It was only for communications. So there was an agreement, and apparently that agreement was null and void once the Massachusetts State Police got involved. Now, this was a Cohasset police, whether or not he had any information regarding the um, agreement between Lynn Beeland and Tracy Minor and what he knew in reference to that. So, all right, we're going to continue. Here we go.
Okay, Mississippi stuff right here. Mr. Clerk, you solemnly swear or affirm the testimony you shall provide in the matter now and herein shall be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God under the pains and penalties of perjury. I do. Please have a seat in the witness stand. Just keep your voice up nice and loud. Thank you.
May I, Your Honor?
You may proceed.
Thank you, Your Honor. Sir, could you state your name and please spell us your last name?
Harrison Schmidt, SCHMIDT.
And where do you work, sir?
Cohasset Police Department,
And how long have you worked there?
13 years.
What is your current rank there?
Sergeant.
When did you become a sergeant?
Early January 2023.
What was your rank as of January 4th, 2023?
Detective.
With the Cohasset Police Department, how many officers are on that PD?
About 22.
And how many detectives are there?
One detective and one detective supervisor.
As a detective, what were your responsibilities?
General investigations.
And in addition to being a detective at Cohasset Police Department, were you affiliated with any other law enforcement agencies?
I'm a member of the Metrolec SWAT team.
And can you describe for us what Metrolec is, sir?
It's a consortium of departments that share resources and personnel to form specialized teams.
And within the SWAT team, do they have any function as far as searches?
They do. They have a search and rescue team.
And what involvement do you have with that?
If they need searchers, they will pull from the SWAT team.
And, sir, how many fatal investigations have you worked?
Dozens.
And how many missing person cases have you worked?
Just over a dozen, probably.
And have you been able to locate all of those people?
No.
How many of those people have been deceased when you've done an investigation?
Several.
And what were some of the reasons for why they were deceased?
Medical issues, suicide, exposure to the elements.
Now, are you familiar with the investigation to the disappearance of Anna Walsh?
Yes.
And how are you familiar with that investigation?
I was called in to assist patrol in a missing persons investigation.
When was that?
The 4th of January.
About what time?
3 or 3:30.
And when you say you were called in, where did you go as a result of being called in?
I went to Cohasset Police headquarters.
And when you got to the Cohasset Police headquarters, what did you do as far as trying to set up an interview with Mr. Walsh?
I tried to coordinate an interview for that night.
And were you able to?
Yes.
What time did you set up the interview for?
6 or 6:30 p.m.
And why was it 3 hours after you got to the station?
He had to get dinner for his children.
Now, that afternoon, sir, did you do anything to try and locate Miss Walsh?
Yes.
What were you trying to do?
I reviewed the reports I coordinated with the patrol officers that initially responded. I performed queries through law enforcement databases, and then I went to the residence.
Now, I have just a few questions about that January 4th interview. At the January 4th interview with Mr. Walsh, what interaction did you have with him as far as him showing you his cell phone?
He gave me a cell phone to look at.
And what did he say?
He said there was about a year of text messages with Anna Walsh that I could look at, and about 1,000 photographs.
And did you look at the phone that night?
I did.
For about how long?
3 to 5 minutes.
And that night, did you have the opportunity to make any observations of any of the cars at the family home?
Yes.
What car did you look at?
There's a Volvo XC90.
And did you get any permission to look at that car?
Yes.
And who'd you get the permission from?
Mr. Walsh.
And what did you notice about the Volvo?
In the trunk, the trunk was lined with like plastic sheeting.
And so were you able to open it at this point in time?
Yes.
Okay. Now, sir, fast forwarding to January 5th, which was a Thursday, what did you do to try and locate Miss Walsh that day?
I did a lot that day.
Let me just go back for a second.
I apologize.
There was I'll do this from time to time. There was a
Sure.
plastic sheet, you said lining the rear area.
Yes.
Is that a trunk or is it more like an open area in the rear of an SUV?
The trunk area is a SUV with a hatch.
Mm-hmm.
So the trunk area, not the seating area.
Okay, thanks. Go
So
ahead.
That is a great question that was just asked from the judge, and I was just going to say the same thing. Plastic sheeting inside the back of an SUV. That is kind of unusual. How many people have plastic sheeting in the back of their SUV? Is that suspicious? Does that raise questions? We'll see what his impressions were. Let's continue.
like a sedan though, which would have a separate distinct trunk, it has access to the seats.
Correct. If the seats would fold down, you could go from the trunk into the back row.
Okay.
So I'll call it a traditional SUV configuration.
Yes. Yes,
All
Your
right.
Honor.
So I was asking you about January 5th and what you did to try and locate Ms. Walsh on the 5th. Could you explain to us some of the things you did that morning?
I created and disseminated a missing persons bulletin. I began coordinating with friends and family. I checked for international travel and put a flag on her passport if she attempted to do international travel. I coordinated with taxi companies and rideshare and her employer.
Now, was anything done as far as canine searches of the area around the Walsh home?
Yes.
Can you describe for me what was done?
The Cohasset Police Canine and handler searched the property.
And the Walsh property, can you describe how it's situated in relation to the roadway?
It's on Route 3A. It's a long driveway set back behind a used auto dealership. It's surrounded by woods. Maybe a quarter mile into the backyard is another neighborhood.
And so it's woods between those two neighborhoods.
Yes.
Was anything recovered during the canine search?
No.
Now, did you have the opportunity, or did the Cohasset PD have the opportunity to enlist any other law enforcement agencies on the 5th?
Yes.
What was done?
I reported to my supervisor, who requested additional resources from the State Police CPAC unit for Norfolk County.
And when, if any, if ever, did any resources from the State Police Detectives Unit arrive at Cohasset PD?
About 5 p.m. that Thursday.
And who arrived from the State Police Detective Unit?
Trooper DeChico and Sergeant Buchanan.
And once they arrived, what did you do with these two troopers?
I informed them of what was been done so far in the investigation, and we listened to the audio recording from the first interview.
After having this opportunity to review all this information with these officers, what, if anything, what was done at this point in time in the investigation?
We went to the residence.
Who went to the residence?
Myself, Detective Lieutenant Lopes, Sergeant Hunt, Trooper DeChico, and Sergeant Buchanan.
And about what time did you go to the residence?
8 p.m.
Did you do anything as far as contacting Mr. Walsh before you arrived at the residence?
I don't recall.
When you arrived at the residence, who was there?
Mr. Walsh was, his 3 children, and his mother.
Was anyone leaving the residence at this hour?
The nanny, Robin Howe, was leaving.
When you got to the residence, did you have the opportunity to conduct any further interviews?
Yes,
Who did you have the interview with?
Mr. Walsh.
Where did the interview take place?
In the dining room and kitchen area.
And can you describe the kitchen dining room area?
Open concept. If you walk into that portion of the house, dining room's on the left, kitchen's on the right. There's a large dining room table. There's window bench seating on one side and chairs on the other sides.
Where'd you sit?
I believe the window bench seat.
And did anyone else from law enforcement participate with the interview with you and Mr. Walsh?
Yes, Trooper DeChico.
And where was Sergeant Hunt?
Sergeant Hunt was also present.
And I take it you're all at the dining room table?
Yes,
So you had mentioned that Detective Lieutenant Lopes and Sergeant Buchanan also arrived there that night.
correct.
Where did they go?
They went on the other side of the staircase is TV living room area, and they spoke with Mr. Walsh's mother.
Could you hear them talking to Mr. Walsh's mother?
Yes,
And during that interview, did the defendant have any access to his children?
yes, they were coming in and out of the interview.
Did the children give you anything that night?
They gave me a piece of art.
Now, have you had the opportunity to review the transcript from that interview?
Yes,
And have you had the opportunity to listen to the audio of that interview?
yes,
Does the audio fairly and accurately record that interview?
it does. However, there is background noise.
In regards to the transcript, is there anything missing as far as the how compared to the audio?
Yes, the background noise isn't included in the transcript.
Is not or is?
Excuse me, is not, Your Honor.
Mm-hmm.
How long did that interview go on for?
About an hour.
Did Mr. Walsh ask?
Okay, I'm going to pause there for just a second. There's been a lot of speculation in reference to Karen Reed's trial and things being edited. So when he says that the transcript has been edited, it's been edited. If the background noise is not included, then it's been edited. Now, does that mean that something nefarious is happening and they're going behind the scenes and changing things up? Perhaps not in this case, but there were some, again, major coincidences in the Karen Reed case. Again, the Sallyport video being flipped, the library video being missing, etc. So, your ears perk up a little bit when they talk about things that have been edited, etc. So again, it's going to be a case by case scenario as to what you do and do not believe. Remember, you sitting back and watching this are a juror of fact, right? The evidence is being presented to you. You're the one that gets to determine whether or not you believe the credibility of each of these witnesses. And that's primarily what we're doing. We're reviewing these to find out whether or not these people are credible. We'll continue.
Take any breaks during that interview?
No,
What was his demeanor like during that interview?
he was calm and cooperative.
During that interview, what did he say that his normal contact would be with his wife, Anna Walsh, while she was working in Washington?
A daily contact.
During the interview, did you have the opportunity to ask him whether or not Anna was contemplating suicide?
Yes,
And what was his response to that?
she wouldn't do that.
What, if anything, did he say she was unhappy about?
Stress from work and distance.
And was he asked about extramarital affairs on either side?
Yes,
What did he say?
neither of them had extramarital affairs.
Did you ask, or was he asked on whether or not, if they had had an argument the morning she left January 1?
Yes,
What was his response?
there wouldn't have been enough time that morning.
What do you say the biggest argument they had had recently was?
She had a 2-week vacation scheduled, and instead of coming home, she was in Belgrade visiting her mother.
Now, did he say what was causing stress in their relationship at this point in time?
Yes,
What was causing stress?
the distance, being away from the children.
And in addition to the distance, were there any other stressors in the relationship?
Prior legal issues.
So he told you that he had another criminal matter going on?
Yes.
What did he tell you as far as his last contact with his wife, Anna Walsh, was?
He was in bed sleeping. This would be the morning of the 1st. She gave him a kiss goodbye, went downstairs to get dressed and leave for work.
And did he tell you what his oldest child told him was his last contact with Anna Walsh?
Yes.
What did he say his oldest child told him?
He said the oldest child was on the couch with an iPad, and Anna Walsh had come down, said goodbye to him, and then left in a vehicle. However, that car did not come up the driveway to the house.
Now,
Okay, I'm going to pause it right there. So remember, the children at this time are ages 2, 4, and 6. So the 6-year-old is stating that he saw mommy come down the stairs, give him a kiss goodbye. He was on his iPad and off she went. So did she leave? They're saying that perhaps like an Uber or Lyft or what have you came and picked her up and took her to the airport. That is from the account from the 6-year-old. Does that have any weight or merit in your decision as to determining what happened to Anna Walsh? We'll continue.
during the interview, who asked to look through the defendant's phone?
Trooper DeChico.
What did he say?
He asked to look through the contents and download the phone.
Now, when he asked to look through the phone, what was the defendant's response?
He said, "Let me get this straight. You want to download all the contents to my phone?"
And what did Trooper DeChico say in response to that?
Yes, all of the contents.
And what concerns did the defendant have after Trooper DeChico said that?
His prior legal issues.
And did he say who he wanted to talk to about this?
His attorney.
And did he say how long it would take for him to get in touch with his attorney and get back to law enforcement about going through his phone?
Yes, he would know likely the next day.
And what did he say his desire was as far as having his phone downloaded?
He said, "This is my intention and declaration."
And to be clear, that was also including his desire to speak to his attorney and get permission first, or have a conversation with her, right?
Yes.
Did Trooper DeChico say why he wanted to look through the defendant's phone?
Yes, we wanted to establish a permanent timeline and get a tone of Anna.
During the interview, was there any conversation about conducting a forensic interview of the children?
Yes.
What was discussed?
We explained what it was, and we had scheduled one for the following day at 10 a.m.
After the interview, what was done as far as searching the home?
We got consent from Mr. Walsh to search the home.
And when you got consent, what areas of the home did you check?
The entire home.
And what access did you have to the attic?
We checked the attic.
Did you find anything in the attic?
Nothing of remark.
And what, if anything, did you notice between the attic and the bedroom of Mr. Walsh?
There was a hole in the drywall on the ceiling.
Now, besides looking inside the home, did you have access to the pool?
Yes.
And what was done as far as looking at the pool that night?
We used flashlights to look into the pool again.
And you say again, did you have the opportunity to look at it the night before?
Yes.
Was anything ever recovered from the pool?
No.
And now, that night, did you have the opportunity to look into any of the vehicles again?
Yes.
Which vehicle?
The Volvo XC90.
And the Volvo XC90, who gave you permission to look into it?
Mr. Walsh.
And what was noticed as far as anything inside what did you notice about the Volvo that night on the 5th?
Inside was a receipt from Lowe's dated the 4th, and there was a cell phone.
Did Mr. Walsh tell you who the phone belonged to?
His oldest son.
After having the opportunity, well, in addition to looking at the house, looking outside the house, did you go to anywhere else as far as at that address to look around for Miss Walsh?
We checked the trash barrels that line the driveway.
Did you find anything in the trash barrels?
No.
After doing all that, where'd you go?
Back to Cohasset Police Headquarters.
What did you do back at Cohasset Police Headquarters?
We attempted to contact financial institutions that might have recent activity.
And about what time do you think you got back to Cohasset PD?
Approximately 10:30 p.m. maybe.
So now on.
So we're going to pause there for just a second. At this time, you have to remember that they are looking for Anna Walsh. They do not know that she is deceased, right? Again, we don't know that she's deceased. We just know that she's missing, right? Currently, right now, they're still trying to do a missing persons / investigation as to where she could possibly be. So they're looking for anything and everything they can to find out her whereabouts. Let's continue.
January 6th, Friday. What happened to the forensic interview of the children?
It was canceled.
And what was done by state police to bring in more resources?
A large-scale search was started. We brought in command posts, the State Police Search and Rescue Team, the Metro Search and Rescue Team, and area detectives on mutual aid.
Now, did anyone conduct a press conference on January 6th from your department?
Yes.
Who?
Chief Quigley.
And how do you characterize this case at the press conference?
A missing persons investigation.
On January 6th, did you have the opportunity to speak to anyone who saw Anna Walsh and Brian Walsh on December 31st?
Yes.
Who'd you speak to?
Jem Mutlu.
And
What's the last name?
Mutlu, Your Honor.
can you spell it?
Mutlu.
And where did this conversation occur?
Cohasset Police Headquarters.
And who was with you for this conversation?
Trooper Chico.
During this conversation, what did he tell you as far as his relationship to Anna Walsh?
Previous coworker and friend.
And what time did he get to does he believe he got to the Walsh home that night on New Year's Eve?
I don't recall what time he got there.
Did he say what interaction he had with the children that night?
Yes.
What interaction did he have with the children that night?
The oldest child had come down the stairs, and he took a photo with the oldest child and Anna Walsh.
And did he say whose phone they took it with? If you remember.
I don't recall.
And after the oldest child came downstairs, was there any further interaction with the children?
No.
What time did he say he left?
After 1 a.m., between 1 and 1:30.
What did he say the demeanor was of everyone there?
Good.
Now, who on January 6th was working on speaking with Mr. Walsh's attorney about getting access to his cell phone?
Sergeant Buchanan.
And do you know if any digital devices were obtained from Mr. Walsh?
Yes.
What day?
Friday.
The 6th?
Friday the 6th.
And were you there when they were obtained?
No.
Now, do you know when those devices were returned?
Saturday.
The 7th.
Correct.
Now, did you have the opportunity to speak with the defendant again on January 7th?
I did.
Approximately what time?
2 p.m.
And where did this conversation take place?
His residence again.
And who was at the residence when you had this conversation with him?
His attorney.
And do you know her name?
Attorney Tracy Minor.
In addition to yourself, the defendant, and Attorney Minor, was anyone else there for the interview?
Yes.
And who else was there?
Trooper DeChico and Trooper Proctor.
Now, did you have the opportunity to hear the recording of that interview?
Dun, dun, dun. Did you hear that? Enter Mr. Proctor. So here we're talking about there are 3 Massachusetts State Police officers now involved in this case. There's Yuri Buchanan, there is Trooper DeChico, and Michael Proctor. Guess what? Spoiler alert. All 3 of those have been either fired or reassigned. Again, it's not just the Karen Reed case as to why these troopers are being reassigned, etc. It is a combination of their tactics through a variety of cases. Did Chico? Oh, you wait till you hear about him. But we're going to continue on because I don't want to spoil it. I want to see what DeChico did in this case. More to come. Let's continue.
Yes.
And does it fairly and accurately depict the interview as it occurred that day on January 7th?
Yes.
Did you have the opportunity to review the transcript?
Yes.
And does the transcript fairly reflect the audio recording?
It does.
Is there anything missing?
There's certain discernible parts, and at one point in time, a dog's barking in the background that's not on the transcript.
And, Your Honor, the Commonwealth would be seeking to mark those as exhibits, which is already in the binder, but for the record, those are chapters 7 and 8, Your Honor. 7 would be the audio file, 8 would be the transcript, and there's a drive in the binder that has all 4 audio files, Your Honor.
Is that this?
Yes, Your Honor.
You said that was just exhibits, or is marked as tab 7 and 8. And so what's on here is 7, 8, and the previously identified, what was it, 1, 2?
So the audio, the drive would have exhibit 2, for the January 4th interview, exhibit 5, which would be the January 5th interview, and at this point in time, exhibit 7, the January 7th interview.
Okay, and I listened to the interviews that were on the drive that you gave. Are those the same that I listened to?
Yes, Your Honor.
Okay, thanks. Any objection to 7 and 8?
No, Your Honor.
All right, great, thanks.
Sergeant, I'd like to ask some questions about this interview now. Are you familiar with what Viber is?
Yes.
What is Viber?
Communication app.
And what is WhatsApp?
Also a communications app.
What did the defendant say that Ms. Walsh had as far as access to Viber and WhatsApp?
She would use those apps.
And are you familiar with Instagram?
Yes.
And what is Instagram?
Social media platform.
And what access did the defendant say that Ms. Walsh had to Instagram?
She would use them.
I imagine Facebook is something similar to Instagram.
Yes.
And what access did he say she had to Facebook?
She would use Facebook.
What access did the defendant have to Ms. Walsh's passwords when you were talking to him?
They shared some financial passwords.
And what access did she have to, well, first off, what is Venmo?
Venmo's an app that you can transfer money to and from.
And what access did she say that she had to Venmo?
She has Venmo.
Now, in addition to these applications, what did he tell you as far as financial institutions she would use?
They would use Apple Credit Union, Liberty Bay, Fidelity, Chase, and a JetBlue credit card.
And how would she conduct her finances?
Online banking.
During the interview, at any point in time, did Attorney Minor interrupt the defendant?
Yes.
And what did she say when she interrupted him?
Don't talk about our communications.
Now, did the defendant tell you how he would obtain permission to leave the home when dealing with federal authorities?
Through email.
And what would he do as far as contact?
Okay, so what they're talking about here is, remember, he was on federal charges for his investigation into the art fraud. And he, I believe, was under, like, had a GPS monitoring or he was under like a strict, you can only go out between the hours of this and this, and you can only go XYZ. So, but I don't think that he was on GPS monitoring. I guess we're going to find that out in just a second. But he was under, you could say, guidelines as to what he was able to do upon his release from bail for these charges. Let's continue to listen.
Them via email, what would he ask?
There was a scheduled time, and requests need to be made 72 hours out. And if there's an emergency request would have to be through email.
And did he say anything as far as your ability to review those emails?
Yes,
What did he say?
he said we could review those emails.
And what did Attorney Minor say at this point in time?
We could review those emails.
Now, what did the defendant tell you as far as his whereabouts on January 1st, 2023?
He was home.
And did he leave the home at any time?
Yes,
Where did he go?
he went to Shaw's to get orange juice and milk.
And once he went to Shaw's and got those items, where did he go?
He returned home.
Did he leave the home again on January 1st?
Yes,
Where did he say he went?
to visit his mother at 330 Paradise Road in Swampscott.
Did he say what happened on his way to Swampscott?
He got lost.
Did, in addition to going to visit his mother, did he go to anywhere else in that area?
Yes, he went to Whole Foods and CVS.
Did he, and besides those stores, did he tell you any other locations he went to on the 1st?
There was discussion of possibly going to a Walgreens.
Now, what did he tell you as far as where he went on January 2nd?
To Norwell to get ice cream with his son.
And during this interview, did anyone ask him about the name Richard Walker?
Yes,
Who asked about Richard Walker?
Trooper DeChico.
And did he know Richard Walker?
No,
What was the significance to you at this point in time of the name Richard Walker?
I had received an email with a ransom request from an email address with the name Richard Walker.
And when had you received this email in relation to the interview that you were conducting with the defendant at this point in time on January 7th?
Before.
Your Honor, may I approach?
Yes.
Sergeant, I'm showing you a copy of a document. Do you recognize that?
Yes,
Is that the email you received from with the name Richard Walker attached to it?
it is.
The Commonwealth would seek to have this marked as the next exhibit. It's in the binder, Your Honor, and before I try and admit it twice, it's Exhibit 9.
Thank you. Any objection?
No objection. Did you read the body of the email?
We have the so named Anna Walsh with us here. We had a deal worth $127,000. She messed up. We have her here with us, and if she doesn't pay the money, then she'll never be back. And we know that the police and the FBI are involved. Good luck finding us.
Okay, so I'm going to pause right here. One thing I failed to mention was that apparently there was a ransom note that was given, and this is what the ransom note he just read. How does that play into the case? Has Anna Walsh been kidnapped? Is there any evidence to that effect? What happened with this ransom note? And how did the police handle it? So let's continue.
I'm going to have that back. Sir. Besides Trooper DeChico mentioning that name once, was there any further discussion of Richard Walker or the substance or even the substance of the email?
No.
Now,
So again, I'm going to pause because I just asked the question about what did they do in reference to this ransom note that they had, this email that DeChico has discovered. As we progress further into this, I don't even know if they even looked into this. Is that considered a misstep on the police? Will that come up in trial? Will Larry Tipton say, well, you didn't look at every possible suspect. Here's this ransom note. Anna Walsh could still be out there. So just put a pin in that and we'll come back to that.
What did the defendant tell you as far as Mrs. Walsh's use of Uber or Lyft?
That she would use them Uber 1 and Lyft 2.
Is there preferences?
Yes.
While you were conducting the interview, did anyone arrive?
Yes.
Who arrived?
Abdullah.
And what happened once that gentleman arrived?
Attorney Minor advised Mr. Walsh to get him to leave.
And what did Mr. Walsh do?
He went to the door and got him to leave.
And was the defendant ever asked how Anna Walsh would communicate if she lost her cell phone?
Yes.
What did he say?
He didn't know at first.
And then did anyone ask him about using an iPad?
Yes.
And what did he say if Anna had lost her phone, how she would communicate using an iPad?
He said that's right. She would use an iPad.
Now, what did the defendant tell you as far as how Anna would communicate with JetBlue?
He related they wouldn't have good luck calling, so she would use the chat function on the online website.
And did Attorney Minor have any comments at this point in time about contacting JetBlue via the online chat function?
Yes, she said that she uses JetBlue and uses the online website chat feature.
And did the defendant have any questions for you at this point in time accessing this information?
Yes, he asked if we had reviewed the JetBlue chatter.
Now, was there ever a discussion of Anna Walsh making a brunch reservation for January 1st?
Yes.
And the defendant didn't have any knowledge of a brunch reservation at this point in time, correct?
Yes.
But did he say how she would have made that reservation if she was going to?
Through the apps Resi or Open Table.
Now, how long was this interview?
About 2 hours.
And after that interview was over, what did you do?
We checked the area for security footage to try and corroborate any vehicles coming or going.
And so how do you do that?
Neighborhood canvas.
Now, were you ever informed about the contents of any of the digital devices on January 7th, that's Saturday?
Yes.
About what time were you informed?
6:30 p.m.
And how were you informed?
Phone call.
From who?
One of the CPAC troopers.
Do you remember which one at this point in time?
No.
And what were you notified of?
There was suspicious browser history.
Now, this is January 7th. And now I want to ask you some questions about January 8th.
Okay.
On the morning of January 8th, did you have the opportunity to be present when a search warrant was executed in Cohasset?
Yes.
Where was it executed?
The residence.
516 Chief Justice Cushing Highway.
Correct.
And who was executing the search warrant?
The CPAC unit with conjunction with the Cohasset Police.
And who was home at the residence when the search warrant was executed?
Mr. Walsh, the 3 children, and his mother.
Now, when the warrant was executed, did anyone arrive to assist Mr. Walsh after the warrant was first served?
Attorney Minor.
About how long did it take for her to arrive?
15 minutes.
And once Attorney Minor arrived, what was done with the family and Mr. Walsh?
We moved car seats around so they could leave the premises with Attorney Minor.
And did you ever have the opportunity to participate in a fourth interview of the defendant on that day, Sunday, January 8th?
Yes.
And where did that occur?
Attorney Minor's residence in Situate,
And about what time did that occur?
about 11 a.m.
And who was present for that interview?
Myself, Trooper DeChico, Trooper Proctor, Attorney Minor, and Mr. Walsh.
And during the interview, what was discussed?
The browser search history.
And what did the defendant say he would do with the iPad as far as helping the children?
He would put on spooky movies for him.
And did he say he did anything else with the iPad?
No,
How long did this interview go on for?
just over 10 minutes.
Who stopped the interview?
Attorney Minor.
And once the interview was terminated by Attorney Minor, what did you do?
I shut off the recorder and we left.
And did you ever have the opportunity to see Mr. Walsh again that day?
Yes,
About what time?
4 p.m.
And where did you see him?
Attorney Minor's residence.
And what were you doing at Attorney Minor's residence at 4 p.m. on January 8th, Sunday?
I placed him in custody.
And where was he taken to once he was placed into custody?
Cohasset Police Headquarters.
He was booked there?
He was.
May I have a moment, Your Honor?
You may.
Hold on. I'm going to go over a couple things that I may have missed. On January 4th,
Okay, so I just paused there for a second because in a second, we're going to go ahead and get cross-examination from Larry Tipton. So interesting fact is that this gentleman is saying that they were at Tracy Minor's home. Again, she was his attorney on his art fraud case. One would think that he would have gotten a criminal attorney. Hang on a second. But he didn't. So Tracy Minor was representing him. Long story short, he said the reason why they went to go and arrest him was that there was suspicious activity. And again, suspicious activity, how? Again, as we know, they looked through his devices and found some interesting things. I don't want to do spoilers alert just a second, but we'll go through that in just a moment. So let's just see what the prosecutor has to re-interview him about, and then we'll hear what Larry Tipton has to ask.
which was Wednesday, the first day you met Mr. Walsh. What did he say to you about looking at anything on his phone?
We could look at anything if it would help.
And
Okay, so as you see here, the prosecuting attorney is trying to justify looking into his devices. So here's Brian Walsh, and this attorney is saying, oh, hey, Brian Walsh wants to help out, etc. So therefore, we would like for him, I want to help out in any way possible. So you can look at my devices. But again, Tracy Minor had a deal with Lynn Beatty that said they can only look at communications. But again, you'll hear exactly how things transpired. Let's continue.
on the 5th, actually, I'll ask this in the 4th. Did he ever tell you what access Anna had of his phone on January 4th?
On the 4th, he said that Anna would use his device, would use his phone and that she would send photos from his phone to herself if she liked them.
And on the 5th, what did he say as far as Anna's access to his phone? When now you're with the Trooper Chico on the second day.
Is there a transcript portion that would refresh my memory?
You're saying your memory is exhausted at this point in time?
It is.
All right. I think that we can, I'll come back to it and find that portion of the transcript. I'm going to ask you a couple other questions in the meantime. On the 5th, how did you get the Volvo open?
He provided the keys to us.
And what was the difference in the Volvo from the 4th to the 5th?
The plastic sheeting in the trunk was not there.
When you arranged the interview for when you arrange interviews with the defendant, how would you do it? Would you call him? Would you just show up? What was your process?
Both occurred.
And who was the person that canceled the forensic interview of the children on January 6th?
Mr. Walsh.
Are you aware of what time Mr. Walsh's devices were returned to him on January 7th?
Would have been around the time of the interview.
Before it began?
Before it began.
And did he describe for you on that Saturday, January 7th interview of what happened as far as getting lost that day going to his mother's residence?
Yes.
What did he tell you?
He said he did not have his cell phone with him, so he took the wrong route.
And what did he say as far as the
Okay, I'm going to pause it there. Do you find it suspicious that he didn't have his cell phone so he didn't know the route in and around that area, even though he lives there and I think he grew up in the area? Do you find that odd? Why didn't he take his cell phone with him? We'll continue.
location of his cell phone from January 1 into January 2?
His children had moved it. He didn't know where it was.
And, sir, concerning the 4th interview that you had with the defendant on January 8th, was that recorded?
Yes.
And did you have the opportunity to review that recording?
Yes,
And is it a fair and accurate representation of that interview?
it is.
And was there a transcript created of that interview?
Yes,
And does it fairly reflect that audio recording?
it does.
And Your Honor, so I would be moving to enter in as the exhibits 11 and 12 in the binder as the audio file and the transcript for the January 8th interview.
Any objection to that? Okay, then.
And one moment, Your Honor.
Certainly.
As far as the location of where people were seated on the January 4th and the January 5th interview, so we're talking about those first two, was there any difference as far as how, like, where people were?
I was seated in a chair for the first one. I think I was on the bench. I was on the bench for the second one.
But everyone was around the dining room table
Correct.
and everyone was seated?
Yes.
And one more moment, Your Honor. Oh, and apparently I've neglected to enter in one of the transcripts, Your Honor. I apologize. And the audio. So exhibit 5 and 6, according to the binder. So I'm going to just ask the officer this for the record. Have you had the opportunity to review the audio from the January 5th, 2023 interview?
Yes,
And does it fairly and accurately reflect that interview?
it does.
And that transcript, have you seen that of that interview?
Yes,
And does it accurately reflect the audio of that interview?
it does.
And as far as any problem, is there anything missing in the transcript compared to the audio?
For the 5th,
Yes, sir.
there was background noise. You could hear you could hear Mr. Walsh's mother speaking in the background, and Sergeant Buchanan.
Ralph, I just want to make sure we don't have a glitch here. in
Yes,
the-
I appreciate that, Your Honor. I think I've
numbering.
fouled things up.
So I see in the binder that the, has now been marked. Exhibit 4 is the transcript of the interview. What's marked as Exhibit 4 in this binder is the transcript of the interview of 1/7/23. And what's marked as Exhibit 5 is the transcript.
And I think that the reason for that, Your Honor, is that the audio files,
Something's not right here.
yes, I think the audio files take us out of order.
Well, I just want to make sure, I mean, you were talking about Exhibit 5 and 6, and I happen to have the binder open. And so
Yes.
6 is now the email from Mr. Walker,
Yes.
or Richard Walker. So I just want to make sure that I have the numbers appropriately, both in terms of what you're putting into evidence. We
And I
can
think
clean up
that-
the binder later, that's fine.
Yes. And I think I know what happened, Your Honor. It's that I put them in an order that included the audio files, but the audio files aren't like a hard exhibit to label in the binder.
So when,
So it's skipping over numbers as a result of the audio files.
all right, so
I can work with counsel and clean it up.
that'll be good.
And so with that, though, I do believe at this point in time, thanks to co-counsel, that I've marked the transcripts and the audio files of the 4 interviews.
Okay,
So I do believe that they're in evidence.
and there's no objection to any of those 4 interviews,
There's,
the audio tape and the transcript.
there is not.
Thank you.
So I have nothing further, Your Honor.
All right, cross-examination.
Okay, so I'm going to pause it there for just a second before Larry Tipton gets up and asks his questions. I have to tell you that this is a hearing just in front of Judge Fournier only. There is not a jury present. This is not Brian Walsh's trial. This is them asking them questions outside the presence of a jury, and they're able to ask pretty much anything that they want. There's really nothing off limits here. And so they're just going through, and again, it's an evidentiary hearing. How did you come and do your investigation? How did you find these pieces? How did you find these materials? How did you find these things all together in order to come up with the conclusions in your investigation? And also, did you do your investigation correctly? And again, the crux of this hearing is to determine whether or not the police downloaded his cell phones, his iPad, the information off of there legally based upon the agreement that Tracy Minor, Brian Walsh's attorney at the time, and Lynn Beatty, the district attorney in Norfolk, whether or not they had an agreement and what that agreement was. Was there a meeting of the minds? Because again, that's what a 2-party agreement has to be. So let's see Larry Tipton in action and see if we can glean anything from his interactions with this officer. Let's continue.
Good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
Were you present on January 6th of 2023 when devices were retrieved from Mr. Walsh?
No,
Were you present on January 7th of 2023 when the devices were returned to Mr. Walsh?
yes,
When you talked on direct examination about this plastic sheet that was in the rear of the Volvo SUV, you were just asked a question a moment ago about how when you looked at the Volvo a second time on another day, the plastic sheet was missing.
correct.
It's fair to say, and it's accurate to say, isn't it, that at that moment, Mr. Walsh was asked about the missing plastic sheet, and he pointed to the officers and said, "It's in the trash."
Yes.
Did you go and retrieve the plastic sheet in the trash?
No.
You've described, based on your review of the taped interviews that you were present for, that the taped interviews are an accurate representation of what happened, and the transcript is an accurate representation of what was stated during those interviews, correct?
Yes.
And you've said repeatedly that there was background noise, correct?
Correct.
And the background noise included dog barking, correct?
Yes.
And that dog's name is Luna?
Hans.
And it's the name of the
Dog's name is Hans?
Dog's name is Hans.
Okay.
Hans. The dog, when you listen to those taped recordings, you can hear that barking go on and off during different periods of time during the recording, correct?
Yes.
And in fact, when you listen to those recordings, you can hear other people talking in the background at times, can't you?
Yes.
And it's fair to say then that during these interviews that you testified to under direct examination, there were times when it was hard to even hear what was going on, correct?
Can you repeat that, please?
There were times during these interviews that you testified to on direct examination, and let's focus on the interview of January 5th and the interview of January 7th. There were times when it was even hard to hear everything that was going on.
Yes.
It's also accurate, isn't it, that when you began asking Mr. Walshe questions on January 5th, there is a statement that is made that people are very loud, made in the context of all this background noise.
I'm sorry. I don't understand. Was that a question?
But you said you reviewed the transcript, right?
I do. I just
And-
don't understand the question.
That, in fact, in the transcript, there's a specific reference to people being very loud.
I don't recall.
And as I'm looking for that, I'll just keep asking you questions until I find it. Page 19. Mr. Walshe showed you that he was having a hard time sleeping, correct?
Yes.
He said he was having a hard time thinking, correct?
Yes.
He told you that, and this is on January 5th, he told you, I didn't sleep well last night.
Yes.
He told you, hopefully he tried to get.
Had to pause there for just a second. And so now we're going to resume. I pushed it back just a little bit. Let's see what Mr. Tipton has to say.
There's a specific reference to people being very loud.
I don't recall.
And as I'm looking for that, I'll just keep asking you questions until I find it. Page 19. Mr. Walshe showed you that he was having a hard time sleeping, correct?
Yes.
He said he was having a hard time thinking, correct?
Yes.
He told you that, and this is on January 5th, he told you, I didn't sleep well last night.
Yes.
He told you, hopefully he tried to get some sleep that night, January 5th.
I don't recall that portion.
All right. And at one point, now your rank now is what?
Sergeant.
So start to call you Detective Sergeant Schmidt. At one point at the beginning of this interview, you in fact stated that you were getting distracted.
Which interview? I'm sorry.
January 5th. January 5th.
Yes.
And that distraction, once again, was the result of all this background noise and the dog barking and things like that.
Yes.
I want to jump to this email that was introduced into evidence regarding Richard Walker. When did you first come into possession of that email?
It was sent to me with the timestamp on the email. I believe it was early morning hours of the 7th.
Okay. You knew nothing about Richard Walker and this email before you received it?
Correct.
And once you received it, did you conduct some kind of investigation?
I notified my supervisors that I had received it.
When you refer during this testimony regarding this motion, when you refer to supervisors, are you referring to Cohasset Police Department supervisors? Are you referring to Mass State Police?
Cohasset Police Supervisor.
Okay, and who would that be?
Detective Lieutenant Lopes.
Lopes.
Yes.
So Detective Lieutenant Lopes was your supervisor?
Correct.
Okay. So did you talk to Mr. Walsh on January 5th and ask him questions then about this Richard Walker email? And I gather the answer is no, correct?
What was
On
the date you
January
just-
5th,
What was the date?
January 5th.
Okay.
Not on the 5th.
And you first asked him questions on January 7th, correct?
Trooper Chico did.
Okay, were you present?
I was.
And did you ask to look at his phone to see if he had any text messages or anything from Richard Walker?
Not specific to Richard Walker.
Okay. And that was the end of that conversation, basically, on January 7th regarding Richard Walker.
Yes.
You testified on direct examination that during the January 5th interview, at some point, Trooper Chico asked if he could look at the contents of Mr. Walsh's phone.
Yes.
When he made that request, he being Trooper DeChico, he didn't make any other request at that time to look at any iPad, correct?
Correct.
And he didn't make any type of request to look at anything like a MacBook or anything of that sort, correct?
Correct.
And when you testified on direct examination that Trooper DeChico said our words to the effect of, we want to download the entire contents. You were talking about the entire contents of the cell phone?
Correct.
It was explained to Mr. Walsh, though, at that point, wasn't it, that what you were looking for, and when I say you, I'm talking about you and Trooper DeChico and people who were involved in this January 5th interview. You specifically told Mr. Walsh at that time that you wanted to look at information to try to understand honor.
Yes.
And you specifically said in that same sentence, and when I apologize, Trooper DeChico specifically said, look through your phone and consent to us downloading your phone and seeing some of the communications between you and her, correct?
Correct.
And her meaning Anna Walsh.
Yes.
And then you referred to on direct examination to the use of tone. The Trooper DeChico said something about her tone, correct?
Yes.
Now, Sergeant Schmidt, fair to say, isn't it, that when Mr. Walsh is being told we want to look at the tone, I mean, what that references, isn't it, is to see if whatever communications you might find on the phone, if they were communications that showed some anger or some happiness or some argument or something like that, correct?
Correct.
And so you wanted to see if the communications that you were talking to Mr. Walsh about at that moment, if they indicated something like any arguing going on between the two, or in fact the opposite. If the communications that they were talking to Mr. Walsh about were affectionate and showed no signs of arguing. That's fair to say, isn't it?
Yes.
And Trooper DeChico then went further and said, yeah, we want to look at things like if there are things that were sent and received on your phone, correct?
Yes.
Sent and received, and that is in the context of communication.
Yes.
Now, then this request of Mr. Walsh goes on, and Trooper DeChico then says, or asks Mr. Walsh, it'd be helpful and we can create a permanent timeline of the events of the 1st, the 31st, and the 1st, and maybe get a better insight into Anna, correct?
Yes.
Mr. Walsh was asked, are you okay with that, correct?
I don't explicitly remember that part.
Do you remember Mr. Walsh saying anything of the sort like, just to be clear, you want to download everything on my phone?
Yes.
So it's fair to say that the first time Trooper DeChico mentioned downloading all the contents of the phone, Mr. Walsh began to ask questions about all the content. It's fair to say that, isn't it?
Correct.
At no time in this exchange that we just discussed in this cross-examination, this exchange that occurred on January 5th, when the subject was first brought up to look through Mr. Walsh's phone, there was no conversation or request to look at anything like location data, was it?
No.
You never said, and Trooper DeChico never asked if he could look at the phone contents for anything like search history or anything of the sort, correct?
Correct.
In fact, the only subject matter, the only characterization of the subject matter that Trooper DeChico talked about and asked Mr. Walsh about used the word communications, correct?
I think I'd have to refer to the transcript to make a definitive agreement with that.
Right? By the way, Judge, if I may, I apologize. I'd like to inquire if Trooper DeChico is in fact going to testify. I thought we were told he was, but I know today we weren't.
Well, we'll get to the,
I don't intend to call.
Then it's fair to say, isn't it, that when Mr. Walsh asked about the entire contents, he was told by Trooper DeChico that we will download, with the extraction, we'll download all the contents to your phone, yes, right?
Yes.
Trooper DeChico never stated that they were going to review or analyze or look at the entire contents of his phone, did he?
Correct.
And then Mr. Walsh said something to the effect of, that's a lot.
Yes.
And then, it's fair to say, isn't it, that you said something to the effect of, well, what we're focusing on is, well, we're interested in, yes, it downloads everything. This is you talking. But what we're interested in is locating Anna and finding the information specifically in there that would help us do that. The Anna specific content, correct?
Yes.
And in that statement you made to Mr. Walsh, you never said anything, you, Sergeant Schmidt, you never said anything about looking at search history or location data or anything of the sort, correct?
Correct.
And Mr. Walsh then once again said something to the effect of, well, that's a huge amount of data.
Yes.
He was asked about what his concern was, correct?
Yes.
And he actually first responded, I don't know. Correct?
I don't recall that.
Do you recall him being asked, right? Do you recall him being asked during this particular part of the January 5th, 2023 interview that he was asked, well, are there other legal issues? If you remember that. And if you don't, it's fine.
Trooper DeChico did say that.
He asked him that.
He asked if it was the other legal issues.
And do you recall what Mr. Walsh responded?
In the affirmative.
He said that's one of them, correct? And if you don't remember, I don't want to put words in your mouth. If you don't remember, that's fine.
Correct. Yeah. Excuse me. I don't remember that exact exchange.
Okay. May I approach, Your Honor?
Yes.
Page 40, line 15. Just going to show you these lines starting with line 13.
13.
What's the page number, Counsel?
Yes, page number
41.
I was just about to say that. There's no jury in the box.
I'm still reading, sorry.
Having read that, does that refresh your memory?
It does.
And it refreshes your memory that at some point, Trooper DeGico said, in fact, is it your other legal issues? And Mr. Walsh said, that's one of them.
Yes.
And in fact, while Mr. Walsh said, I'm willing to do anything, that his only request was basically to talk, he wanted to first talk to Tracy Minor, correct?
Correct.
Was that the first time, Sergeant Schmidt, that you became aware of the fact that Mr. Walsh was represented by counsel?
No.
When did you first learn that he was represented by counsel?
The interview on the 4th.
Were you provided contact information on January 4th of 2023 of Mr. Walsh's attorney?
No.
Did you ask for it?
No.
Did you learn about Mr. Walsh being represented by counsel through Mr. Walsh or some other source?
Mr. Walsh.
So when you learned that he was represented by counsel, Sergeant, did you pause and consider reaching out to his counsel instead of continuing to ask him questions?
At what point in time?
On January 4th, when you said you first learned about him being represented by Tracy Munn?
No.
But on January 5th, when he told you his only request would be because Tracy Minor called me today about what's going on, you asked him, who is that?
Correct.
And that was on January 5th.
Correct.
So even though you asked Mr. Walsh on January 5th, who is that, when he used the name Tracy Minor, you're telling us today that you learned about Tracy Minor representing Mr. Walsh on January 4th.
No. If I may explain.
Sure.
Mr. Walsh related that he had an attorney on the 4th. However, she was not named. I learned about the name on the 5th during that second interview.
Okay. But you did learn that he was represented by counsel on the 4th, is what your testimony is here today, then?
Yes.
Is that exchange, when you learned about Mr. Walsh being represented by counsel on January 4th, is that contained in the January 4th interview?
I don't recall.
Well, were there...
Okay, so I'm going to pause there for just a second. They are talking about when this officer was informed that he had counsel. Now, Walsh wasn't under arrest, right? You know the Miranda rights. You're entitled to a lawyer. Anything you say can and will be used against you in a court of law. If you wish to be represented by an attorney, if you can't afford one will be appointed to you, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera, right? Again, we need to preface this and go back and say they are looking for Anna Walsh. They have no idea what happened to her. They have no idea where she is. They just know that this gentleman called up and said his wife is missing and they're trying to find her. Now, again, missing cases kind of slide into, investigative death cases, right? So they're just trying to gather as much information as they possibly can to find out her whereabouts. So saying that you have representation, that you have an attorney, doesn't automatically give you the right to say, hey, I have an attorney, so therefore don't talk to me. He has to invoke that, right? He has to invoke and say, I'm not answering any more of your questions. If you need to answer anything, you go through my attorney. And eventually, as I said, Tracy Minor gets involved. But at this stage, she's not. So Tipton's sort of implying to this law enforcement agent that, hey, listen, he said his lawyer, did you know that? Again, until he wasn't under arrest, they're still investigating. And until Walsh invokes the Fifth Amendment sort of here, that he doesn't want to say anything without his attorney present, or if you need to ask me any questions, go through my attorney. He doesn't say that. He is concerned about what they're going to do with his phone. But is that enough? Where's the law? Where's the line that either they crossed, or where's the line that's drawn that said they didn't cross it? So this is where it gets a little bit gray. Let's continue.
Were there conversations other than with Patrol Officer Lawrence with Mr. Walsh on January 4th that contain statements that don't appear in the interview transcript or in any of the reports?
Yes.
And have you ever been asked to reduce to writing statements of Mr. Walsh that otherwise don't appear in your reports or Lawrence's reports or in the January 4th transcript of your conversations with him?
No.
What other statements can you tell this court about that Mr. Walsh made to you on January 4th that did not find their way into any report or into any transcript?
There's conversations about the house and rental property when we did the walkthroughs of the premises.
All right. Anything else that you recall?
Not at the moment.
All right. It's fair to say then that your memory of any other statements that do not appear in reports or in the transcript, those were not statements that included Mr. Walsh saying, you know, you can look at the entire contents of my phone, you can look at anything you want, or words to that effect, correct?
Correct.
By the way, Sergeant Schmidt, did you ever have any conversations with a district attorney named Lynn Beelan about this case?
I don't recall any.
All right. Do you know who Assistant District Attorney Lynn Beelan was or is?
Yes.
Had you interacted with her in other Norfolk County cases?
No.
So your conversations with Assistant District Attorney Beelan would be limited to this particular case or this investigation?
I don't recall any communications with her.
Okay, how about conversations?
Related to this case, no.
Okay. So I guess it's fair to say that you never had any conversations with Assistant District Attorney Lynn Beelan regarding any agreement to search any devices, correct?
Correct.
Now, Mr. Walsh made a very
Okay, I have to pause here. Something that I think that people don't know is that in reference to all of the Karen Reed stuff and Walsh, etc. Remember, a lot of people have exited stage left, right, or stage right. They've retired, they resigned, they've been reassigned, rehomed, etc. Lynn Beeland, who was the assistant district attorney, she retired after this. Let's see if I can find out. She is also very much in control of the Birchmore case. So again, you have to ask yourself, you know, why are all of these people leaving? Why is there this mass exodus? I was trying to see if I can find the date when she left. Why is there this mass exodus? Why are all these people leaving? What is happening in Norfolk County in Massachusetts? Many, many unanswered questions. So we're going to continue on, but I thought that would be an interesting tidbit for you to know that she's no longer there. So unfortunately, in the Walsh case, they have to continue on without her. And Tracy Minor is no longer representing Mr. Walsh either. So it's a he said, she said, they said sort of situation. Let's continue on.
clear to you during this question and answer during the interview on January 5th that he wanted to talk and needed to talk to his attorney, Tracy Myers, correct?
Yes.
Correct?
Yes.
And he made it very clear that he had to talk to his attorney, Tracy Minor, before he agreed to anything about turning over his phone, correct?
Correct.
And once again, that discussion, when I just limited it to his phone, his iPhone, this discussion about talking to Tracy Minor didn't include any reference to searching any iPad or iPads or MacBooks, correct?
Not that he discussed with me.
I'll return to the subject matter, but what I want to ask you, Sergeant Schmidt, is this. When you were there present with Trooper DeChico and you're interviewing Mr. Walsh on January 5th, and now you've already interviewed him earlier in the day before in the evening, as a police officer with training and experience, you would in fact be interested in looking at communications between Mr. Walsh and the missing spouse, correct?
Yes.
And it's fair to say, isn't it, that you'd also be interested in seeing, if you could, any communications that Mr. Walsh attempted to have with Anna Walsh after January 1st, correct?
Yes.
And you would be interested in looking for any communications of Anna Walsh attempting to contact her husband, Mr. Walsh, after January 1st, wouldn't you?
Yes.
And you would be interested, wouldn't you, in looking at communications that Mr. Walsh made to anyone after January 1st regarding the whereabouts of his wife, correct?
Can you just describe that one more time? I'm sorry.
You would be interested in looking at communications of Mr. Walsh trying to talk to others and inquire about the whereabouts of his wife, Anna Walsh.
Yes.
And in fact, Mr. Walsh told you, didn't he, that he had first reached out to Anna Walsh and tried to text her when his phone was found, correct?
Correct.
Now, when you were asked questions on direct examination about this phone, his phone being lost, you are aware of the fact, aren't you, that the phone was found by one of his young children, correct?
Correct.
And in fact, it was found after this nanny, I think you referred to her as Robin.
Robin.
After she had searched trash barrels and things looking for that phone, correct?
Yes.
And one of the reasons they were looking in trash barrels is because that had happened before, correct?
Correct.
The kids or one or more of Mr. Walsh's children had taken his phone or Anna's phone and put it in a trash can and hid it, correct?
Correct.
So getting back to your experience as a police officer and an investigator, it's fair to say, isn't it, that there would be interest in looking at communications from Mr. Walsh, not just on December 31st of 2022 and January 1st of 2023, but communications that went and extended past the first, possibly the second, correct?
Yes.
Now, returning now to the specifics of the January 5th interview. One of the things that Mr. Walsh told you when you were asking about downloading the contents of his phone was, aside from there was an enormous amount of information and things like that, he said that he needed to talk to Tracy Minor, his attorney, to see if she might say, can we just do the information that you're asking for, correct?
Yes.
And up to this point, when that statement was made by Mr. Walsh, the only subject matter that had been discussed with him, either through you or Trooper DeChico, was communications, correct?
We talked about downloading all the contents of the phone and communications to set the tone.
Right, but I understand that. But once again, just going back to some earlier direct and cross-examination, when the comment was made, yes, we want to download the entire contents of the phone, either you or Trooper DeChico then immediately said, but really all we're looking for is information about Anna Walsh. And once again, you talked about communications, correct?
Yes.
So even if in the context of we want to download the entire contents of your phone, in the same context of that statement, it was made, we're looking for communications, correct?
Yes.
And we're looking for communications and Anna's tone, correct?
Yes.
Now, was there some explanation to Mr. Walsh at this point in the January 5th interview where Trooper DeChico starts telling Mr. Walsh something about your concerns? I think we need a search warrant for that information to be used against you. Do you remember that?
I do.
Now, can you tell the court why that was made at that time when Mr. Walsh was informing both you and Trooper DeChico that he had concerns about having you download all this information?
Objection.
Sustained.
Well, were you trying to convince Mr. Walsh that whatever you found on the phone would not be used against him?
No.
Then what was the purpose of telling him that you would need to have a search warrant?
Objection.
Sustained. He didn't say it. The other guy did.
He didn't say it.
This witness didn't say it. How can he know what the other witness's intention was? Right?
That's the objection. He didn't say it.
He's hearing it just like everybody else, unless I've got the facts wrong. He's not the speaker. You have to ask the speaker what his intention was.
Okay, let me ask you. I understand.
That's why I'm sustaining the objection. Next question.
Let me ask you this. Do you know why?
So when I said Judge Frenier rules her courtroom and demands respect, etc., she is a sharp tack. You're not going to get anything past her. Clearly I understood what the objection was. Mr. Tipton is in his own thoughts, so he didn't quite understand who said what. He thought this gentleman had said it. But again, what Tipton's trying to do is to elicit from this witness what he was a party to in reference to what consent did Mr. Walsh give in reference to downloading the phones. So we'll continue.
Trooper DeChico, at that moment in time, made that comment about search warrants?
No.
Did you ever ask
No.
Trooper DeChico about that?
I did not.
Was it confusing to you?
No.
But you don't know why he asked it?
Correct.
Mr. Walsh did tell you that he used his phone for work, didn't he?
Yes.
And he did tell you words to the effect of he was concerned about how long you might have to have his phone, correct?
Yes.
And then he was informed that, oh, they have a mobile unit, maybe they can come out to your house, correct?
Yes.
And his response to that was great, wasn't it?
Correct.
So the it's fair to say that Mr. Walsh was told that since he had concerns about how long they might have his phone, they could actually come out to his house and conduct extraction at his home with a mobile unit, correct?
Correct.
And do you know, Sergeant Schmidt, if in fact they brought a mobile unit out to Mr. Walsh's home on January 6th?
Not to my knowledge.
And then Mr. Walsh tells both you and Trooper Chico that his only request is to talk to Tracy, his attorney, and to let her know and to give her his risk exposure, right?
Correct.
So it's fair to say that based on what you were hearing Mr. Walsh say, it was clear to you, wasn't it, Sergeant Schmidt, that he was not going to agree to turn over his phone or have it reviewed unless and until he talked to Tracy Minor?
Objection.
I'll let him have that one.
I'm sorry, could you repeat that? Just so I have it clear.
Sure. Probably wasn't a very articulate question. That it was clear to you, wasn't it, based on the responses that Mr. Walsh was giving to both you and Trooper DeChico, that he was not going to agree to either turn over his phone or to have you look at the communications without first talking to his attorney, Tracy Minor.
Yes.
At this point in the January 5th interview, is it fair to say that you, Sergeant Schmidt, you begin to interject and say, just so you're aware, if any peace of mind, we don't have a crime.
Yes, I did say that.
And we're not investigating a crime. This is a missing person.
Correct.
Can you tell the court why you, Sergeant Schmidt, made those statements at that time to Mr. Walsh?
It was the truth.
And why was it? What was the significance to you of making those statements?
He wasn't the subject of an investigation. We were there as a community caretaking function to assist in finding a missing person.
All right. So, once again, Sergeant Schmidt, let me ask you this. Was that statement that you made to Mr. Walsh at that time, was that an effort to reassure him that what you found, if you found anything on the phone, that it couldn't be used against him without a search warrant? Was that you suggesting that to Mr. Walsh?
No, I wasn't thinking like that during that conversation.
Were you trying to reassure him that whatever you found on the phone, you, Sergeant Schmidt, would not intend to use it against him?
I was trying to tell him exactly why we were there.
Now, so at this point, after it became clear that Mr. Walsh was asking to talk to his attorney, Tracy Minor, before he made any agreements regarding his phone, then the subject matter of the inquiry on January 5th changed, didn't it? You started asking other questions about relative to your investigation. Correct?
Yes.
It's fair to say that during this January 5th interview that you were present for, that you never asked Mr. Walsh anything about search histories or anything of the sort that might be on his phone, correct?
Correct.
And you never asked him anything about what is referred to as location data, correct?
Correct.
Did you ever see? I just have a moment, Judge. We take a cough drop.
Yeah, absolutely.
Thank you. Sorry about that. You were asking questions about, I'm going to jump ahead and come back to January 5th, but you were asking questions about the January 7th interview you were present for, correct?
Yes.
In the January 7th interview, for the first time, Mr. Walsh was told, you know, it's important for us to create a timeline for you to avoid suspicion, correct? Words to that effect?
Yes.
That statement about creating a timeline to avoid suspicion being placed on Mr. Walsh, that was first made on January 7th, correct?
Yes.
And that was the evening of January 7th, correct?
The interview?
Yes.
No.
Okay. It was, what time was the January 7th interview?
About 2 p.m.
Okay. Afternoon.
Afternoon.
And it went on for quite some time.
About 2 hours.
And up to that point, on January 5th, it was never suggested that you needed to establish some kind of timeline to avoid suspicion, was it? That subject matter never came up on January 5th.
Correct.
It never came up on January 4th, correct?
Correct.
And when that suggestion was first made to Mr. Walsh on January 7th, the devices had already been turned over, correct?
This is the 7th?
Yes.
Yes.
And in fact, when that statement was made to Mr. Walsh on January 7th, the devices had actually already been returned to Mr. Walsh, correct?
Yes.
And in fact, when that statement was made to Mr. Walsh on January 7th, what's been referred to as an agreement as to what could be searched on the devices that had already been reached, correct?
To my understanding.
Okay, because when you say to my understanding, it's because you weren't involved in those quote negotiations, were you?
Correct.
Did you ever see an email exchange between Assistant District Attorney Lynn Beelan and Attorney Tracy Minor?
Not at the time.
Not at the time.
Not at the time. I may have seen it since, but not at the time.
Okay, at the time, when you say not at the time, we're talking about up to at least January 7th of 2023.
Correct.
And so it's fair to say that, is it fair to say, Sergeant, that on January 7th, when that was made, that comment about coming up with a timeline to avoid suspicion, you had no idea if that subject matter was included in the so-called agreement, correct?
Correct.
All you know is that that subject matter of coming up with a timeline to avoid suspicion was first made and broached on January 7th, 2023.
Yes.
did you have any conversation on January 5th of 2023 about one of the children's iPads being broken or not working correct?
On the 5th. I don't recall.
Were you present at the house, Mr. Walsh's house, on January 6th of 2023?
At the moment, I don't recall specifically being there Friday the 6th.
You do or do not?
I do not.
You, it's fair to say you didn't write any report about being present on January 6th, correct? Being
don't-
present on January 6th.
I don't recall writing a report about being present on January 6th, the 5th. Excuse me, Friday the 6th.
You didn't write a report.
I don't remember writing a report about that.
So is it fair to say that you weren't involved in all the searches that were going on January 6th at Mr. Walsh's home?
I was.
Oh, I see. So do you now remember being present on January 6th?
I was involved in the searching at the command post down the street.
Okay, but not at the home.
Correct.
Okay, that's fine. Let me ask you this, Sergeant Schmidt. How long had you been a detective with Cohasset Police Department? Up to January of 2023.
About 8 years.
And it's fair to say in those 8 years, you might engage in to try to perhaps get someone's consent to turn over a device, correct?
Yes.
And sometimes those devices might include a cell phone or search of a car or anything like that, correct?
Correct.
Is it fair to say that Cohasset Police Department has a form that might be entitled consent to search or anything like that?
Yes.
And the reason for using a form like that, consent to search, is to make sure that there is a record evidence that the person you're asking for consent from, that they give their consent voluntarily,
Yes.
and you have a document that reflects that, correct?
Correct.
And in that document of consent to search, it'd be fair to say that you would also include what the parameters of the search is going to be, correct?
Yes.
And you do that because you don't want there to be any confusion down the road about what the person agreed to and what the person didn't agree to, correct?
Correct.
And one of the reasons you don't want that problem to arise is because you don't want your investigation, in whatever case those are, you don't want your investigation to be compromised and questioned whether that person actually gave their voluntary consent, correct?
Correct.
Have you ever?
Okay, I'm going to pause here for just a quick second. So he's asking questions in reference to the policies and procedures of the Cohasset Police Department, right? You also have to remember that they called in the Massachusetts State Police to handle this. So you're confused why he's being asked these questions. He's being asked these questions because that's what their policies and their procedures are. It's not the same policies and procedures as the Massachusetts State Police. Apparently, the Massachusetts State Police, in some cases, you can just do whatever they want to do. And then, do right now, ask for forgiveness later. And that's what they did in this case, and you'll find out soon enough. So this is getting to be a very long podcast. We're over at 2 hours and 24 minutes. So I think what we're going to do is we're probably going to do like a two-parter here. After we finish this one, we'll pause for the day. We'll do a recap and then come back tomorrow to see what other what Massachusetts state police officers will be on the stand and what they have to say. So let's continue.
Ever seen in this case whether there was ever a consent to search any device used by either yourself, Cohasset Police Department, or the Mass State Police?
You asking about a form?
Yeah.
I did not see a form.
Have you ever worked with the Mass State Police in conjunction with any other case where you've seen them use a consent to search form?
I don't recall a specific investigation.
And specific to this case, though, and the consent to search, it's fair to say you didn't have any conversations with Attorney Tracy Minor. I don't know why I keep saying the name wrong. Tracy Minor, regarding Mr. Walsh consenting to any search.
Correct.
When you were talking and Trooper DeCicco was talking and asking Mr. Walsh questions on January 5th, we all agree that the only subject matter that was referenced specifically was, quote, communications, correct?
Yes.
And when you use that word communication, you are in fact, is it fair to say you're talking about things like text messages?
Yes.
And maybe voicemails?
Yes.
Maybe emails?
Yes.
And you're really, when you use that word communication, you're just using it in its common parlance, correct? Communication, discussions between one person and another person or persons, correct?
I'd say that just the sharing of information is communication.
Okay. Between two people.
People.
Okay. When you were asked questions on direct examination about someone by the name of Abdullah coming to the house, did you conduct any further investigation of this person named Abdullah?
Further from that moment,
Yes.
I did not.
Okay. Is it fair to say, Sergeant Schmidt, that in the January 5th interview that you participated in of Mr. Walsh, that the phrase, quote, marital privilege was never used?
I don't recall it being used.
Okay. And is it fair to say, Detective Schmidt, that during the entire interview of January 5th, the only dates that were discussed in your presence during this interview was December 31st, January 1st, and in the days thereafter, words to that effect, correct? Do you recall, Sergeant Schmidt, if anything was referenced in that January 5th interview about looking at data back to December 25th of 2022?
I don't recall that in the interview.
I just have a brief moment. That's all I have, Judge. Thank you.
Thank you. Any redirect?
A few, Your Honor. What was done to investigate the Richard Walker email?
The forensic specialists of the state police conducted a search warrant for Google and the records they hold to look into that email address.
And the Richard Walker email, just right, when did that come to you again?
The morning of the 7th.
And also, sir, when you were asked about Abdullah on cross-examination, did you ever have the opportunity to interview that individual?
I did.
When?
I believe it was the 5th.
And during the interview of January 5th, what difficulty did you have hearing the defendant when you were discussing looking through or downloading his phone?
None.
And in addition to discussing the tone and communications, what was discussed as far as timeline when looking through his phone?
It would help investigators establish a permanent timeline.
And sir, you were asked questions about communications when in digital devices. What do you consider an online chat via a web page?
Communication.
What did the defendant tell you as far as? May I have a moment, Your Honor?
Yes.
What was Attorney Minor representing the defendant for when you were discussing her initially?
Federal investigation.
And when you were there, what involvement did you have with this federal investigation when you were interviewing the defendant these times?
None.
And so why were you interviewing the defendant on these days?
To find a missing person, Anna Walsh.
What knowledge did you have about the federal investigation when you went to interview him?
Or what he had told me.
One more moment, Your Honor.
Yes.
Thank you, Your Honor. On the car, sir, when you were asked about, you said it was in the plastic sheet was in the trash. Did you see the plastic sheet?
No.
And what did you notice as far as any difference in the car when you looked at it?
There were like vacuum, what I would assume were vacuum marks. Like if you have the different swipes on the carpet.
Nothing further, Your Honor.
Any recross?
Brief. You never used the word in the context of communications in asking Mr. Walsh questions, something about online chat and web page, did you?
During the interview?
Yes.
No.
What do you mean by that?
I don't understand the question.
You were asked just now on redirect if you considered communications, online chat, and web pages, and your answer was yes.
Yes.
What are you referring to?
You'd be communicating and sharing information between people through an online chat function on a website.
Okay. In all the discussions you had with Mr. Walsh based on grounded in January 4th, January 5th, and even on January 7th, there was no discussion about online chats using a particular web page, was there?
Not a particular web page, but the JetBlue specifically.
And you went to JetBlue. Did you go to JetBlue and talk to them about information relative to Anna Walsh?
I did not.
Do you know who did?
Initially, patrol units had requested the state police assigned to Logan Airport to coordinate with JetBlue to see if there were any travel records.
Okay. Isn't it fair to say then that with regards and specifically to any web chat, chat on a web page, that the Mass State Police learned that there was nothing communicated between Anna Walsh and JetBlue on or around December 31st, January 1st, or thereafter?
Not that I'm aware of.
That's all I have.
All right. The witness may step down. Thank you.
Thank you, Your Honor.
Okay, we're going to go ahead and pause there for today. We'll pick up again tomorrow with the other witnesses. We're already at 2 hours and 36 seconds. So what I would like to do is add this to the stage and just continue what we're talking about here in reference to, so what is at stake here is whether or not the police, whether it's Cohasset or the Massachusetts State Police, whether they obtained his permission to download the information off of his cell phone. And again, they're talking about just looking at the communications between him and Anna to try to find out where she is. And in this, as you'll know, spoiler alert, if you don't already know, they went ahead and downloaded everything. And in that, they downloaded the location data off of his phone, which places Brian Walsh in a severity of different places throughout the Cohasset area. He was at different dumpsters. He was at a hardware store, etc. Then they got the video footage from these stores showing him buying a variety of things, cleaning tools, etc. To, one could assume that he is cleaning up a crime scene. So what are the legal arguments? They're saying that the internet searches and the location data was obtained illegally during the search. It exceeded the scope of the initial agreement between Walsh's then attorney, Tracy Minor, and Lynn Beeland, who was the district attorney at the time, and the police. Minor, she testified that the agreement limited the search to the communications within the specific dates, excluding internet search history. They also did his internet history, and there's some information found on that as well. The prosecution argues that, Walsh freely consented to the searches of his device and that the discovery of the evidence was inevitable, meaning it's not fruit from the poisonous tree. It's that one thing would lead to another, which would lead to another, and eventually police would eventually figure out what was happening, and they would eventually download the information off of his phone, and they would have eventually have gotten the video surveillance from the stores, etc. And then all of this would have just happened naturally. So this is what the crux of this hearing is about, is whether or not they retained full custody of the evidence and whether it was legally done. Again, it is the job of the defense to get all of the evidence that's against their client and to see what is going to come into trial. And it's their job to poke holes in the prosecution's case and to get as much evidence thrown out for a variety of reasons, whether it's, illegal downloads or whether or not they didn't obtain a search warrant correctly, or they interviewed somebody without the presence of their attorney, they didn't give a Miranda warning, etc. None of those are in this case except for this information about the downloading of the phones. Okay, so we're going to kind of go past that. So, what's next in Brian Walsh's case? Is there exculpatory evidence on former Trooper Michael's Proctor's texts? The answer is yes. As we already know, in the federal TUI dump from Karen Reed's trial, there's some exculpatory information there. And then when they just got information about Proctor's texts and information on his personal phone, is there anything on that that is related to the Walshe case? We don't know just yet. Will anything else be suppressed? We're still working on that. Is this the case of the bad guy effect? Meaning, if there's information from Trooper Michael Proctor that might be biased towards his client, if in fact you believe that Mr. Walshe is guilty, will he be, quote unquote, let go for things that Proctor may have done? Will that taint the investigation? It's another thing that we will see. So the next conference is scheduled for ? We are awaiting to see what the evaluation is of his competency to stand trial. Recall that he had a stabbing at the jail where he was located. He claims that that has interfered with his mental capacity, and he is currently in Bridgewater State being evaluated for his psyche. So there was supposed to be a competency hearing scheduled for the 10th, and then they pushed it to the 14th, and now it's been canceled, and we don't know what the next situation is going to be. So where do we go from here? Well, like I said, tomorrow we're going to pick up where things left off. There is still approximately, I think about 2 more hours left, but it's important because you're going to see the Massachusetts State Troopers testify in Brian Walshe's case, and you're going to find out the things that they did. And then we're going to compare it to what they did in the John O'Keefe case. And we talk about policies and procedures, and what are the policies and procedures with Massachusetts State Troopers? And do they follow it like the letter of the law? In each case, do they do the same thing? So that is what tomorrow's podcast is going to be about. So I hope you're having a great day, and we will see you again tomorrow. Don't forget to hit the like and subscribe so you know when we're coming back with some more content. Thanks for tuning in. We'll see you again tomorrow. Thanks for watching Legalese 123. If you like what you saw, please like and subscribe for more content.